I have my very good friend in the house. I've listened to her talk. But it is not what she says that moves me most. It is what she does. And immediately after Terae, we're going to be giving room for two of our sponsors. Book Chase will be talking to us after Terae, and one other sponsor will be talking. But now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the foremost African women in technology, one of the foremost African women in entrepreneurship, one of the foremost African women in digital technology. Put your hands together for Terae Onyeje. How's this program so far? Let's move to we need the mobile. Okay. So pick your mic. Pick the one you like. Let me give you that chance. Terae, nice having you here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Devari.
What makes you go into this thing you are doing today? What's the story behind it?
It's a short and a long story. So I've been in technology for 28 years.
28 years.
Had very long stints with the major PC manufacturers. So I've had engagement with Compaq, Hewlett-Packard, Lenovo. At the end of all that, we were looking for something bigger. So it just made sense to bring all of that knowledge from that business into this. Now, I'm not doing this by myself. I have a partner. So my partner has been in technology for 28 years as well. But he's Dell's largest PC partner for the region. Okay. So he has that business angle, and I have the product angle, and we really believe we can change how Africa works and learns.
Terae, what are you doing for Girl Child in Technology?
It's more around driving visibility of learning. What we find across most of Nigeria is that there isn't too much focus on the females. For the girl, she's going to be in the kitchen with her mother, she's going to go to the market to sell. There's always something for the girl to do, but go to school. And that has to change. And we're finding that the more we push girls in that direction, we find that they're more dynamic, they're more flexible. They simply get on with it at a rate so much faster than the boy child. So it just makes sense to work with organizations who are dabbling in those spaces to support them in whatever way that we can.
Beautiful. How far has Wowbii Interactive gone? What have you handled? What are you handling presently in Nigeria?
Wow. Okay. So the coolest part of Wowbii right now is we're building Lagos State's first modular school. So a modular school is a school that we put up in about 4 months, built out of containers. With it comes technology, with it comes training for the teachers, with it comes devices for the children, as well as security. This happened because for each person we talk to in public schools, the first thing they say is, well, there's no school, there's no roof, there are no chairs, there's no security, there's no light, there's no internet, what are you talking about? And somehow we bumped into Governor Sanwo-Olu, and he was repeating the same thing, and we said, no, it doesn't have to be that way. We can actually build a school for you, put the technology in, and do a real proof of concept of how this works. We're bold enough to do that in the public sector because we've done it in the private sector, where you have people coming back to you to tell you they're trying to explain changes that has happened in their classroom that they do not understand. And we're telling them it's all about technology and how effectively you use it in your classroom that's bringing these changes.
Terae, you have become a big girl. You're not talking with Sanwo-Olu. So.
It's not like that.
So come and talk to us now. We also want to build modular schools. Let's put our hands together for Terae, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to be here. Mr. Debari, thank you so much. You're so gracious each time we meet. And it's always an honor to work with you. Alhaji Badmos, your message resonates. Mrs. Malaka, your message resonates. Today we're going to be talking about things that are obviously very important to all of us. For a quick start, how many of you heard about Wowbii before today? Yay! But I'm going to say what I would say anyways, because I want you to take something out of this room. The name Wowbii comes from somewhere. Like I told you earlier, we've been in technology for a long time. And I've lived in Nigeria practically all my life. A lot of the time, when you talk about things that are deemed to be foreign, Nigerians expect you to fail. So my partner and I have started this with a very clear vision, and that begins with the name. So when you hear wow, it simply means that everything we do will come with a wow factor. So at every point, we strive to overachieve. The B stands for black. We're proudly African. You would see that on every slide. We're Africa's first indigenous manufacturer of interactive flat panel displays. We've done this for 4 years, and we're not stopping. The double I means immersive, interactive. And our mission is very simple. We're here to transform the way Africa works and learns. When we started this 4 years ago, our clients were mostly in the corporates, because it was the corporates that understood where we were coming from with the technology that we had. So there were big businesses that really believed in us. Total E&P, we spoke with them and they said to us, we're signed up as a global partner with Polycom, but we love what we're doing and would like to encourage you, so let's send you to one of our partners. We worked with one of the Total subsidiaries. In as little as 3 months, the MD of this subsidiary came back to us to say, your solution paid for itself in the first month. With Total, we've also done MTN. We're in MTN across 2 countries. We're in EcoBank, we're in KPMG. So our success stories started from multinationals. As we work more with Nigerian companies, we want to make sure we upgrade the thinking that the Nigerian company can operate at a multinational level as well. And that's the story we're taking into schools. Ms. Adebari has asked me to talk about technology-driven education in the 21st century. Today, we're talking about new skills. They're new jobs that never existed before. Those 2 things tell us that we need to update our education. Because right now, like had been pointed out by a speaker earlier, we cannot wait for policies to change. It starts with the private sector to update this. A lot of people in the private sector are already doing this by merging international curriculum or British curriculum with the Nigerian curriculum. So for us, that is great excitement.
The original Industrial Revolution was driven by the discovery that you could use steam engines to do all kinds of interesting things.
But that was followed by additional revolutions for electricity and computers and communications technology. We're now in the early stages of the 4th Industrial Revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
One of the features of this 4th Industrial Revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
With the ability to visualize brain activity, for example, through a simple consumer-based EEG device, it gives us access to ourselves in ways that we've never before thought possible. It unlocks the black box that is the brain and enables us to really, truly be able to realize an identity that is aspirational.
So I shared that slide because I wanted to show you that we're just getting into the 4th Industrial Revolution. The 4th Industrial Revolution is using exponential computing. is driving for rapid disruption. I wanted to hold on to those things. If you remember, one of the speakers said, it's not changing what we do, but it's changing us. So think about it. We used to listen to music. We still listen to music. What has changed is how we listen to music. So let me bring you to the fourth industrial revolution. If you're talking exponential computing, your learners must be able to play in that space. If you're talking disruption, your learners must be able to collaborate and create. If you're talking rapid disruption, your learners must be able to leverage on common qualities of working together to do things even faster. So we've always talked about the 4 C's. Today it's about the 6 C's. And what is big about that? Citizenship and character, which had been mentioned earlier. So ladies and gentlemen, who's going to teach these? Do we have teachers for this? Do we have enough schools to accommodate the teachers if they decided to build them? Can that be done in this lifetime? So the question we should be asking ourselves is, where do we want our children to play? How do we want them to play? We've sat down for years and watched everybody else do stuff, but we find that when we as Nigerians or Africans go out into organized spaces, we excel. Our dream should be to get as many people as possible excel from home. Because if we don't train our children, who are naturally creative, this is what we get. This child has probably never been to school, but look what he built. How do we support creative Africans like this? Excel. The pandemic caught a lot of schools with their pants down. When we started talking about education transformation a few years ago, some stakeholders thought we were asking them to invest to entertain children. At that time, not a lot of people understood increased engagement. Not a lot of people wanted to go for improved test scores. All they saw was a demand to invest in technology because the children like to play with devices. So the pre-COVID classroom worked with the sage on stage, the teacher in front of the class talking. In some institutions, you had the projector, which often didn't give you the kind of quality that would drive learning. And in almost all cases, you're still working 100% with paper. So we've had our paradigms shifted. So a lot more people are open to technology. But we're not driving technology because of COVID. We're driving technology to make sure that as many of us as possible are players, are contributors in the fourth industrial revolution. And the questions remain the same. Today, what are your technology options? How do you plan to upskill your teachers? How well do you upskill your teachers? How engaged are the children in your classroom? And I'll take from Mr. Oshewa's page. Is your institution the last on the queue for school shopping parents? So you see now there's multiple reasons to move to tech. So at Wowbii, what we've done, or what we're working on, is looking at the 4 parts of education transformation and looking for how best to address each one. So on the learning environment side, we're saying, where and how are they learning? Is it virtual? Is it physical? Is it formal? Is it informal? We're looking at teaching assessment. What are we doing with curriculum? What's the plan with pedagogy? And for the educators, where do they teach? How are they teaching? What's the plan for professional development? And very importantly, what is the innovation culture? So when you put technology in the class, there has to be a plan to use more than that technology. It has to be used really creatively to actively drive learning. At Wowbii, we're creating what we're calling board zones. So a board zone is simply a learning area that is equipped with interactive technology resources for the educators as well as the learners. So we're focusing on 3 parts. The first one is the classroom, or the in-class experience, which today might be in the physical class or remote. What we do is, the panels we manufacture is your front of classroom device. That panel comes with content, interactive content. Interactive, immersive content. There are options to have devices in the class. How does your teacher prepare notes? How do they prepare their content for the classroom? How does the teacher manage the devices in the class if there are other devices in the class? In managing the in-classroom experience, we also look very closely at capacity development. We've seen over and over that the children are naturals when it comes to tech, but the adults, not so much. We also know that if the adults don't embrace technology, any technology investment done by stakeholders will fail. So we're spending a lot of time working with teachers to ensure technology adoption. So on that, we've created what we're calling ETAP. ETAP stands for Educator Technology Adoption Program. It's a 12-month plan where month on month, we're working with schools to use the applications as well as a digital curriculum to drive lessons. Today, we're actually offering that for free. In the last 2 months, we've probably approached maybe 5 schools and we're doing it for free. I know for a fact we're in great schools in Lagos and we're also doing it for free at Green Springs. Now, we're doing it for free as part of a contribution, really, to technology learning. So Grace School, for instance, has not invested in Wowbii, so it is pure free engagement, where we're actually taking our screen into the school to give the teachers that experience. The content on the screen is something that should be very dynamic. So for that, we have a teacher platform that shows teachers how to either create content or borrow content from teachers across the world. We're finding that the 6 C's I talked about earlier is not just for the children. The teachers as well have to imbibe it. Because the more we engage teachers, the more it rings in our minds that you cannot teach what you don't have. So we're spending time doing that transition with them. Because the end game here is that the teacher becomes a facilitator. The third part of our board zone is the management. When we put devices in your environment, we don't walk away. As an African company, we offer very long warranties. So if you're investing, you're not afraid that your investment is going to go down the drain. And that's what we saw in a lot of schools who had invested in international technologies. You put it in the class, it fails, end of discussion. Long warranties, a lot of touch on the management side. You would find that we would now start to have conversations with whoever is offering a learning management system to make sure technologies merge. Because again, we don't provide everything, and we're very happy for partnership. A big part of what we're doing really is really we seek to serve, to achieve our vision of transforming the way Africa works and learns. Now, this is the most important part of my slide. What we've found over the years is that the burden of technology investment is very hard on schools. So what we're coming up with is a new product, interactive learning as a service. So what Wowbii is proposing to do is offer schools technology, content, as well as support for a flat monthly fee, where you get to pay for your investment over 1 year or 2 years, or decide that you just want to lease. So every month, it's a flat fee. On the lease side, we would change the device every 3 years. Once the warranty runs out, you get a brand new device. And that's how we want to turn it around. Now, this style of education investment is done everywhere else. I know in the UK it's pretty much a standard, but I do know that in Nigeria we have a propensity to own what we use. So for Wowbii, we're asking stakeholders to try to look at this a different way. If technology is changing the way schools work, the way you invest in technology should change as well. We're at the beginning of this. We're talking to schools that will sign up from September. We're making it a Wowbii direct engagement, so you don't have the burden of banks and all of that, but that would come with a separate set of discussions. Being the first part of it, we'll probably be a little cautious, and maybe we'd say, okay, larger schools or higher numbers, but the opportunity is there. We believe that this is the best way to deliver inclusive technology education. And we know it will work. So I have my team out there, and they have screens out there, and they have all of the content, and we're happy to talk to anybody who would approach us. And I really look forward to the opportunity to work with all of you in this room. Thank you very much.